do an intro and then we'll just get rolling.
Yeah, this is so fun.
Good morning. I am back in Ottawa, not even a month after we moved to Toronto. I got in yesterday morning because I'm back because Mom and I are going to go to New Brunswick on Saturday. Today is Thursday, and the cheap train was to get in on Wednesday morning, and I leave in a couple of weeks, so I can spend some time in Ottawa as well as going to New Brunswick, so that's going to be nice. Get to see Nana today, granted when I get back because they're out west right now. But we have a busy day today, actually. Today's actually a pretty big day. So, obviously got work. I have a call at 12:15 to 12:30, and then I have to run to Hallie's parents to get some government checks and some stuff from her parents' house for her. And then after that, I got to run downtown, go to our old building, because we forgot our Wi-Fi router, which isn't the end of the world. We're supposed to send it back to Bell. But on that Wi-Fi router, I forgot is like this connector piece for my lights, for my light changing, for my color changing lights, I should say. And they don't work without that piece, and so I need to go and pick it up today. I texted our superintendent. Never really got a clear answer from him. I texted him a couple weeks ago and gave him exact dates. Didn't really get a confirmation on the exact date when I sent it to him. Texted him yesterday being like, yo, I'm coming down tomorrow to pick it up, making sure that's cool. I just want to make sure there's nobody in the apartment, because technically like we've still paid rent there for this month, but we've been gone, so I wouldn't be surprised if they rented it out. And someone's living in there, so I should make sure I'm not like walking into a stranger's apartment, which would be kind of weird, really weird. So either way, I gotta go from Hallie's parents downtown to pick up the Wi-Fi router and the connector piece for my lights, and then after that, I'm going probably straight to Hayden's. The timing, I might be a little bit, actually, I'll be perfect on timing. Gonna go straight to Hayden's from there because we're gonna be recording episode number 200 of my social life today. The last episode of the last interview of the podcast, except for the Gary Vee one for whenever that does happen. But I wasn't gonna wait. I was gonna originally, the plan was to wait for Gary Vee and do Gary Vee at 200. But having some scheduling conflicts getting that one done, so I don't want to just like wait for 200. So I think, you know what, I'll make Hayden episode 200, and then I will wrap up the show the following week. I'll do like my We'll Talk Soon episode, and then whenever the Gary Vee one happens, I'll drop it as like a special bonus episode in a couple months when I get that one recorded. But either way, so Hayden will be 200, and I think that's only fitting. Hayden was episode number 1. Hayden came on, interviewed me for 50 episodes later. Hayden came back. Actually, we did in between that, we went to New York. We recorded a podcast called the New York City Precap, where he recapped the whole New York trip before all those episodes dropped. Then he came back on for episode 100, then he came back and interviewed me for 100 episodes later. So you know what, a great place to end this podcast is with Hayden on episode 200. So, we'll talk more about like the wrapping up of the podcast later. But yeah, so I gotta go there, record episode number 200 at Hayden's house. So I gotta drive from getting Hallie's stuff, go downtown, get the Wi-Fi box, go to Hayden's, set up, record the podcast, probably be around an hour to an hour and a half. I'm not really going to be stressed about the timing on this one. And then after that, I got to go pick up Nana from the airport because she gets in from Winnipeg today. So a lot on the go today, very busy day. I figured, you know what, I need to like have some form of a routine. Whenever I travel, it kind of goes out the window, and it still hasn't been perfect today. But I figured, I'll get up, I'll go for a walk. I snooze for half an hour, which I don't really do, but I did because I'm traveling and it always messes up my routine and stuff. But figure, I'm gonna get up, get out, go for a walk this morning, and then get to work. I gotta organize the notes for the Hayden podcast. I listened back to episode 100 last night and episode 1 last night, which is kind of cool. What's also crazy is the trailer for my social life, like the beginning of the show, was 4 years ago exactly to the day. And so I think it's only fitting that I'm recording all of the final interview, not including Gary Vee, of course, on today. I think that's really cool. Would have been cooler if I recorded it the exact day Hayden and I dropped, which is 3 days later on July 31st, 2018, but still, that's still pretty cool. That July 28th was when the trailer dropped. So that's what we got in store for today. I just realized like how far I've walked, and I'm still vlogging, so I'm probably doing this for a while. But yeah, busy day. I'm gonna finish this walk. I'm gonna throw in a Hayden podcast, a recent one. At least in the last, like literally came out yesterday. take some notes on that, get home, find something to eat, organize the Hayden notes, do some work stuff, schedule some posts, work call, and then gotta just get moving after that.
Here we go. The prep notes for the interview with Hayden are all done. I found a way early on. I'm going to weave into the intro his original Instagram name, his second Instagram name, and then I want to just make a joke here to take a moment to reflect on the 200 episodes and enjoy this Sound of Silence, because Sound of Silence was the name of his first album when he was a rapper. And what I tried to do, I tried to find ways to weave in past things we've talked about in the last two interviews, episodes 1 and 100, throughout the interview. So some easy stuff like picking up where we left off here. And it's kind of tough to find them all in here, but this is it. How many pages we got? We got 5 pages, just over 4, almost 5 full pages, so pretty solid. We got some quotes from the last time that he dropped, some other things I know that have gone on in his life recently, thoughts on the other platform. We'll really dive into his TikTok strategy and how he systemized it all. But I'm excited. I think it'll be a good chat. It always is a good chat when I talk to Hayden. I'm just excited to hit him with Ginger Ninja and Hayden Nar. And also Sound of Silence here. I think he's going to enjoy those. So I'm stoked with that. Took me a little bit longer to do that than I thought it was going to, but that's okay. I got to dive into work now, get some scheduling stuff done, and then probably eat something at some point. I just had a few cashews earlier, and that was my breakfast, so I should probably eat something. And then we've got to, get moving. Got to quit all that stuff like I talked about earlier.
Hello, a car vlog? Who am I? Look at me go. This is wild. I never ever, I can't tell you the last time I drove a car, other than to go pick somebody up on a solo mission like this. I have it in my car. I sold my PT Cruiser and I didn't sell it. I gave it to Josh, but that was 2017. So it was 5 years ago. So this is foreign whole concept. It definitely long needs a little distracting. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm focusing on the camera in the corner of my eye. But on the way now, just wrapped the work call. Work call ran 5-10 minutes long. I realized my timing on this is a little bit tighter than I gave it credit for. I have to be at Hayden's in an hour and 15 minutes. It takes me 10 minutes to get to Hallie's parents, half an hour to get downtown, 45 to get to Hayden's. And so hopefully I can be leaving Hallie's parents by 1 o'clock at the latest. Downtown at 1:30. I heard from my superintendent. He said to call him when I get there. That's good. Hopefully I can spend less than hopefully 5-10 minutes in and out at Metcalf at our old apartment. I get the router and I'm out, and then from there I can get to Hayden's on time. So that's the hope at the moment, that I can get all that done. A little stressful because the timing's, like I said, it's tighter than I thought it was going to be. So I got an hour worth of driving, so not a lot of stopping in between time, and that's barring any traffic. So fingers crossed there's no traffic. And actually the drive from downtown, Hallie's parents downtown, saves me that extra 10 minutes. It'll be 20-ish minutes. That's not bad. So I should be okay in terms of timing. I've checked my bags probably 7 times to make sure I have everything I need. I need my laptop and a charger, an adapter for the two mics, the cords to plug into the adapter, my backup mics, my camera, a little tripod for my camera. I thought that I was done lugging this camera around everywhere when I was traveling, because I stuff it in my gym bag and it's so heavy. And now that the show is coming to an end, I was I don't think I'm ever have to do this anymore. I was wrong. I'm gonna have to do it now, and I'm also gonna have to do it when I go do the Geary V podcast, whenever that does happen. But either way, I just want to keep vlogging in the car. Car vlogs, this is sick. I don't have anything else to talk about. But Hayden's also got people there that are going to record content that can also grab a few photos for me, which is huge. Josh did offer to come, and I feel bad because I want to make sure I spend time with him while I'm here. But it worked out because he's actually pushed for a YouTube video for a YouTuber. Obviously, a camera guy for work. So hold on, be focused. There's old people on the side of the road. This is fucking spectacular. All right, there we go. And the car passed. Anyways, worked out. Josh didn't have to work, so I did feel bad that I could bring him, but it was all the things. So I felt bad, but make sure I spend some time with him later. I also have to edit this podcast tonight if I can find the time. I still have to pick up Nana, and the timing on the Nana thing should be fine. The Hayden podcast, in theory, will probably be. I'm expecting to spend 2 hours there, maybe even less than that. I don't know what his schedule's looking like. But the podcast minimum will be an hour, maybe an hour and a half. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, as long as I leave his house at 4:30, which should be more than enough time, I'll make it to Nana, either 4:15 ideally. 4:30 probably. I don't mind waiting to the airport too long. But yeah, all right, this guy's going to tell me focus again here. Either way, full day. Things are going off to a decent start. I got all the notes organized. It took me a little longer. I already told you about that. I'm just all over the place. Anyways, all right, I am gonna go now. All right, anyways, I gotta get to Hallie's parents. I gotta focus on driving because I don't do this very often. So I'm making it way worse than it is. But and for anything else, like I haven't actually taken time to like reflect on the fact that the podcast is ending. You know what I mean? Like this is the last interview, barring Gary Vee, and like even so, like I know that one should happen, but he's busy. Like things happen, so I'm not even like I'm gonna commit to that one and do everything I can to make it happen. Like this could in theory be the final episode. Like I don't know when the Gary Vee was going to happen. It hasn't really sunk in yet. I think like emotionally I've probably like come to terms with the podcast ending after a while, and that transition to not doing my show anymore is obviously made so much easier by the fact that I have a podcast, a new show that I'm already doing that's so sick with Creator Now in LA. Like the process, like those first, you may have seen the videos, the first 6 episodes that we recorded, which we're not even actually gonna be able to launch probably as a full audio, like full podcast, because the audio is not great. So we're gonna be doing it again, going back. Actually, this is fun, I can share with you now. I'm going back in September for Mid Summit, and we're gonna record more episodes there. So the fact that I'm doing this new show with awesome people, with awesome guests, makes this transition of my podcast a little easier. And like, I'm glad I'm finishing on for 200. I did drag my feet in a question I got in episode 199 recorded with Portal Tons earlier this week. I'm glad I did that and did drag my feet. And I pushed to 200 because I owe it to the show, but I'm also okay that I'm okay that the show is ending because like it's been 4 years. It's served me very well. It's got me to this new show that I'm going to LA with, and I was thinking this morning, like, where would I be? Why are they doing 60? Where would I be had I not started the show? Like, I would never have involved with the people I met in LA. I wouldn't have met any of the people I met in LA. I met closely what I know now. I know because it's all residuals from starting the show. So this show has a lot to do with the success I've had in my life and career thus far. Which is cool. So obviously there's some, like, I'm going to look back on it very fondly. I think that's the good thing. And like, how much longer would I have gone where I would stop looking upon the show fondly, if that makes sense? Like I was kind of having a moment before the Creator Now thing officially happened where I was like, I don't want to keep doing this show, like where am I at? And yeah, I think I was just becoming alive in 4 years every week, right? So it's gonna be fun to talk to Aiden about, because I remember on our first episode he talked about this content series he did called Lazy Sundays, and he was talking about how it's every single week you gotta do all this work. People don't realize all the work that goes into putting out this thing weekly, and so I was never consistent with it. So I was like, oh yeah, that's crazy. Not hearing, I should have been listening to that advice about, hey, like, you're signing up for a podcast, which is gonna be every single week forever, and you know, and I've honestly put my head down and grinded on it, and it's been a grind sometimes, but you know, it's been so worth it that I'm just so thankful that I started that show. I was 20 years old, I realized today. I thought I was older than that. I was 20 years old when I started the show. And actually, I think I was doing this 4 years ago to the day the trailer dropped. So I was 20 years old when the podcast came out for the first time, and here I am now, 24 years old. I moved to Toronto, and again, my job is like, you could trace links of the podcast back to my job and like how I got my job. And a lot of the people I know, it's just so, like, sometimes I don't think I realize the impact that my social life has actually had on my actual life. Like, there are so many positive things, and yes, it could be tough, and yes, it was never huge, and it was never getting the downloads I wanted it to get. We should hit 50,000 downloads. I just checked this morning, actually. I haven't checked my downloads in like a month and a half. We're close to 50,000 downloads. So after my episode drops next week, and then my episode with Hayden will come out, and then if whenever the game happens, that should push us over 50,000 downloads. But I feel like people were thinking I was getting more than that a year, right? Like the show just seemed bigger than it was. And so and so because like I could see the downloads and it was never getting as much as I was hoping it would get, sometimes it's like it gets tough, you know, looking at those metrics. And that's why obviously I'm not supposed to put all your self-worth at happiness into the views, which I didn't, like, but it was a part of it. And so that could get me down at times, and weeks where I only get like 200 downloads and stuff. But like really, like thinking about it now, the amount of good things that have from the show is immense, and you can't necessarily quantify that in the views, which is an important lesson I think for myself. But it's just crazy to really think about all the good things that have happened. as a result of my social life. My friends, I just reading the same things like now as well, where I can't actually stop talking because I don't want to deal with the camera while we vlog. Problems at Howie's parents anyways. But yeah, like I think it's just good, and it's good to take this moment now and talk to you about it, like about the fact like of how good the show has been. And am I sad as ending? Like yes and no. Like I'm excited for the break, and I've already kind of had one really, like because I've only reported like 3 episodes in the last month or something like that. And so I haven't been doing like on the treadmill as much as I was. I was like cranking out content for my social life. And I also like, yeah, sorry, I'm just distracted by driving, which is good. I should be focused on driving. I'm talking to you. But it's gonna be nice to have that break and be off that hamster wheel of every single week. And like the career now is gonna be different. Where I'm not gonna be every week, and I'm gonna have time to relax and recover between. Like I haven't had that at all. Like the closest thing I've gotten to a break with my social life is when I got like 6 weeks ahead that I could take 2 weeks off because I was so far ahead. I would have to get so far ahead by like chilling myself with the amount of work I would do to get there. And so it's gonna be nice to have a bit of a break. But I'm already like, even though I'm having to have like a full break where I don't have to be able to show at all, like. Even just being in Toronto and just doing little things, like just going around with Hallie and spending time, like I'm already feeling like, oh shit, I need to figure out what to do next. It'll probably be something like screenwriting related, or I'm thinking about doing a YouTube channel now again. Now that the podcast is done, like I could focus on a YouTube channel. But we'll see. I gotta figure exactly what I want to do long term. You know, what actions now will serve as future be the best. I think that's what I gotta figure out right now. But my social life, we're gonna do 200 episodes. It's been a lot for me to get here. It's crazy that we're here. I'm so glad I got Hayden for 200, that we were able to make this work. And in person too, I'm not like no better way to end it than this. And I could bring the good mic, so the audio quality is gonna be great. We're gonna be in person. The vibes are gonna be high. I'm up to the roof. I'm excited. I couldn't be happier, you know. And yeah, I just gotta make sure I get there on time, and all goes well with this recording. But anyways. I'm about to get to Hallie's parents, so I will grab her checks and stuff that she needs, and then off to downtown. I'm going to pay for parking because I'm not going to chance another parking ticket. If you ever watched the movie vlog, you want to get that, but I had never been to pay for parking downtown. This is going to be weird. I'm like a visitor now, which is crazy. But I also almost wish I didn't have to go back to the apartment. Like I would rather have given it more time before going back to this. But it is what it is. That's life. It's on us for forgetting the Wi-Fi router, which wouldn't be as big a deal if the thing that make my lights work wasn't there, but it is. So anyways, I am going to run inside here to the Panks, grab Hallie's stuff, and then get back on the road. And I'm not going to talk to you back on the road because I want to bump some music in here, because that's the biggest thing I miss about having a car, is being able to listen to music when I drive and pick all the songs and have me love them and sing them as loud as I want. So I'm going to do that when I get back in the car. Go grab her checks now and hit them.
Bye, Goody. Hi, Clutch. Hi, guys. All right, I gotta go. You guys be good. Stay beautiful. Love you guys. Bye. Do I close this? I'm gonna close this. I don't know if you guys can push this or not. Oh, shit. All right. Got the money. Got the cream. Back in the car we go. Good, man. How are you? That's the one. Wi-Fi box. And the box, or the connector for my lighting has been secured, along with some mail that I think was probably forwarded from Cooper Street, or our old address, 402, we lived in 401. But either way, got it now. Timing's just right, should be. But, and also shout out to Ryan, our superintendent from Ottawa. He's just a good dude. Good dude. Was ready when I called him, got me in and out there in a couple minutes, which is perfect. Parking only cost me $1, which is even better. And we are 15 minutes from Hayden's, and it is 1:45 right now, so we should be just on time, barring any traffic. I need you to Google his address, but I'll see you when I get to Hayden's. 3 minutes late, so close. I got delayed actually when I got downtown because they closed Queen Elizabeth so bikers can use it, and that delayed me. So that would have been right on time had I not had the delay, but we're here now and we're gonna go record this podcast.
Not the phone call from Toronto, bro. I think Toronto was just calling me. You should join us. Oh, that's hard. I got it. Maybe just some push-ups.
All right, here we go. My Social Life episode 200. This is it.
Can you see the mic in?
Let me just listen back to this quickly before we...
It's easy to differentiate from
What's that? I think it does look sick though when you can like see it's a good mic and shit. Kind of like when I did the one in Minnesota, like it looks so proper.
Yeah, how are you gonna test things? That's pressure. That's pressure. Are you gonna do this or not? Oh, fuck, you should be right. Yeah, that's ass. I'm here. Can we good?
Oh yeah, we ready.
We good?
Sal, check that cam. Just make sure Jacob's got this nice
True.
roof.
Sounds good to me here. Worst of the worst case scenario, I'll do what I did episode 47. My mic fucked up and I literally re-recorded the entire thing line for line. Just my audio.
line for line.
He recorded his own audio over again.
But like I would listen to the shitty mic and so I would
Psycho is.
But I'd listen to the shitty mic and I'd make sure the cadence was the same. So
Yo!
there was like I would like stumble in the same
You
spot.
got it.
Dubbed his own track.
Yeah.
bro.
Then he put ad-libs in. Mama!
Yep. Alright.
That would be so funny.
I think this is a good angle. I'm not sure what angle you like the most.
I'm not
Or
honestly
you're
like
not
I'm the
too picky,
least.
though?
I'm not picky at all. I'm so like
I'll like get
You're
you
super
guys.
picky and not picky.
There you
I
go.
feel like you're picky about me,
yeah, that's
looking
true.
good, and you don't give a fuck about you.
No, I'm not even gonna be in this.
You don't do headphones either, right?
No,
Why not?
it's real. I don't know how to fucking do it.
Do you know what the headphones are for?
Feedback, right?
I thought the headphones were for so that you talk at a good level, because you can hear the level you're talking at.
That's interesting.
That's why I use them.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I use it because it sounds cool.
Well, it does look dope too, right?
Do you want to just wear headphones?
Put the plug like here, like clearly like on it.
Sounds like you want headphones.
Oh.
Alright, Jacob, I'll get you to just pretend like you're talking.
Just pretend like I'm talking.
Yeah,
This is how
sounds like you're doing your
probably doing my job.
Doing your job.
I'm a professional now. I get paid to do this.
Exactly.
Is it in your bio?
The new show's not because it's not live yet.
Okay.
So, and I haven't even posted that this one's ending yet.
But professional podcast host.
Oh, I guess I could put that.
It's kind of hot. Change your LinkedIn.
Not yet. It's because right now the bio says top 3% in the world, top 100 in Canada.
In just general or in a category?
No, in general.
Top 3% in the world? Period.
It is.
No. I just mean you. Like you just wrote top 3% in the world.
For podcasting, yeah. Which isn't actually that crazy. The show will probably end at 50,000 downloads total lifetime.
Yeah.
So that's top 3% in the world. It's not that much.
Yeah.
Can't believe we're witnessing such a historic
Double threes.
This is it.
How are we
This is it.
rolling?
Yeah, about to
You
win this.
ready?
No
Alright.
pressure.
There's a lot of pressure.
Where are my
You
notes?
guys perform.
There are my notes. Alright. You ready? I'll do an intro and then we'll just get rolling.
Yeah, this is so fun.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to My Social Life. I'm your host, Jacob Kelly. As always, today's podcast is powered by Surf. And this is the podcast where we teach you how to grow on social media by talking to people who have actually done it. People like Hayden Cashin, who has over 100,000 followers on his TikTok at Hayden Cashin, but also over 100,000 followers on his TikTok at Modern Marketing. You might know him by one of those two handles, or if you're an OG, you might know him as Jinja Ninja or Hayden Nar. And I could not be more excited to have you on the podcast today, Hayden. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Jacob. It's an honor to do this show again. You're my favorite podcast host and one of my favorite people in the world, so I'm excited to get into it.
I appreciate that, man. You've been my favorite guest. I think I can say that. 6 times you've been on the show, 3 times as a guest, 2 times interviewing me, 1 time as like both of us. This is episode 200, and I couldn't think of anyone better to do episode 200 with. So I think we should take a moment and just appreciate this sound of silence. Did you catch the reference?
Oh shit. Oh no. You know what's funny? Is while you're doing that intro, the reason I was smiling so hard is because I'm like, I know he's gonna ask a banger question number 1 that I don't see coming, and I'm like so excited to hear it. So feel free.
Sound of Silence was your first album.
Yep, it was. My first and only.
Yeah. But I wanna know where I wanna start. I just wanna know, who are you?
My name's Hayden Cashin. I'm 27 years old. I'm really into marketing. I'm really into playing golf. I'm really into personal development. I'm really into laughing and having a good time with my friends. It's kind of the top interests.
I'm glad you answered it that way. And not just like this, like, because a lot of people, when they hear, who are you? They respond with what they do.
Yeah, it's one of the things, but not everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you answered with kind of the full spectrum of things. And for the second question, then, it's how are you? And how are you really?
How am I? I'm in an interesting stage of my life. I don't really know what I'm going through right now. I think that's the hardest part. After my 27th birthday, which was May 2nd of this year, I got overwhelmed, overworked, and lost kind of direction. It was just like scary. I didn't know. You know what I mean? I was so confused. But I do think that this is a massively pivotal moment in my life, and I wanted to do this podcast with you. Like this one, I'm not gonna go on other podcasts and talk about this. You deserve it, bro. You did it. You put in the reps.
Like I said, man, that was supposed to be a thank you to you for everything. So, and I've been like keeping asking questions because like I think I just don't want this specific podcast itself with you right now to end. Yeah. But I think this is a good place to end it.
I agree.
And I just want to thank you again for everything. And I want to thank everybody for listening. Whether you've listened the entire way through or you only listen to bits and pieces, I really appreciate you for taking time to check this out. Even if this is your first episode or if this is your 200th episode, thank you so much for the support. If you want to do me a big favor, go and follow Hayden on Instagram, on TikTok. Everything will be linked in the show notes down below, including a link to register for Modern Marketing. Whether you're somebody who has the time and wants to learn everything, or you're somebody who doesn't have the time but wants to learn everything, there's a package there for you no matter what your needs are. So that'll be linked in the show notes down below. And if you'd like to follow me, you can find me everywhere on social media at the Jacob Kelly. Feel free to come and say hello. My DMs are always open. As always, today's podcast is powered by Surf. Thank you once again for listening. We'll talk soon.
Proud of you, bro. Love you.
Thank you, man. Love you too.
Tomorrow, next week. Made it to the vlog. What do you want to tell the people, the followers? Don't get my legs.
Jacob Kelly is the fucking GOAT.
I appreciate you, man.
That's.
And what you do? Oh, baby. Oh my God.
Hayden Cashin, episode 200.
We're just discussing, we've now done 3 episodes where I'm the guest, and literally every single episode has been vastly different. It's really documented my journey in 2-year chunks. The last one we just did is the most vulnerable, deep podcast I've ever done, and there's no one I'd rather do it with than my brother Jacob Kelly. I think over the years, the podcast that we just did is going to help so many people in the topics that we touch on, and it's been an honor to share that moment with you.
Okay.
My guy. Appreciate you.
What do you want to tell the people beyond that?
What do I want to tell the people beyond that? Everything's in your head. How happy you are, how sad you are, how much you accomplish, how much you don't accomplish, how you see yourself, what you hear, what you don't hear. It's all in your head. So just work on that mindset and then allow your actions to follow what you believe.
I love it. Love it, man. Thank you. That's it. Episode 200 in the books. Just get in the car here. I'm sure that is a very flattering angle. Episode 200 in the books. I'm very happy with that episode. Very happy with how that is the conclusion to the podcast. Thus far, Hayden and I are talking. Hayden said on the podcast, maybe we'll have to keep doing these every 2 years and just releasing them as special episodes. So maybe we'll do that. But it was long. We were an hour 45, which is the longest podcast Hayden and I have ever done together. I just didn't want it to end, so I just kept asking questions and finding new threads that we could go down because I just wanted to be in that moment and keep the podcast going as long as I could. But as a result of that, I am now extremely late to pick up Nana. She just landed. I'm about 20 minutes away. Luckily, she's the last person. What's going on here? She's the last person that gets off the plane, so that gives me probably like 10-15 minutes of buffer. But I got to get moving, so I got to get my phone to get the
the instructions to get to the airport. So I do that. I will see you at the airport. She's a little crooked, but you know what? We're gonna be like 2 minutes. It's fine. It's fine. All right, just got a text from Nana just now, so I think she just got there, saying that she's waiting at the middle door at the airport. So I will go and find her. This shouldn't be too tough, I think. Which one's the middle door? There she is. She has no idea I'm here. She'll figure it out in a sec. Let's give her a minute. She's on the phone. 3. Hello.
Oh my God. Oh,
Good to see you too. Oh my goodness. That's okay. You want to grab that?
Thank you.
No problem. Oh, it's coming down again. Oh my goodness. All right. I'm taking this one. This one is yours, the small one.
Thank you.
Of course, Josh's is the one they overfill, so it's going to melt all over the place. That's.
Oh.
I'm going now.
Or anything else you can think of that you'd like.
Sounds good. Love you.
Love you, darling.
Bye. I just did a whole vlog talking to the car, talking to my phone, but when I closed the door to get in, it bumped the phone, which bumped the power button or whatever, or like the volume button, which stopped the recording. Anyways, got Nana, we were in the car, and she goes, do you want to get Dairy Queen? I was like, man, I'm not gonna say no to Dairy Queen. So we got Dairy Queen, got Nana in here, got all her stuff back inside. I have a grocery list for her, so I'm gonna get her some things, I'm gonna get myself some dinner, and then back here, I'll probably visit with Nana, and then I'm gonna try and edit most of the podcast from today before I go to bed, hopefully. Moving all the video footage over to my hard drive. It's definitely later than I thought I was going to be doing this at. I wanted to try and get this full episode edited tonight. That's definitely not going to happen. I think I'm going to edit the audio before I go to bed here, and I'll get it done tomorrow. I just, after the grocery store, I came back and made some dinner, and then I honestly have been chatting with Nana for the last like 2.5 hours, and Josh came after a little while. So yeah, I forgoed probably. I'm a little tired, as you can tell. Forgoed editing the podcast tonight. Figure, you know what, spend some time with family, that's more important than the show. I'll work on it tomorrow, and at the end of the day, like, I get back Saturday, so I leave Saturday for New Brunswick. I get back on Saturday, the following Saturday, and then I still have Sunday, Monday, where I'm not traveling, where I can put that episode out. So, or I could edit that episode and put it out 2 full days. So I'm not too pressed. I'd like to get the edit done still tomorrow if I can, and ideally record the takeaways while it's all fresh, because it's tough to do the takeaways when I edit it and then I do the takeaways like an extended period later, because it's not fresh anymore. It's different if the episode happens and then I edit it a week and a half later and then do the takeaways. Like, as long as I've edited it recently, it's fresh. So that's the ideal, if I can get the takeaways recorded tomorrow. And I also want to try and get to bed relatively early, because Mom's coming 4 a.m. to pick me up on Saturday, which I will vlog that. I don't think I'm going to vlog tomorrow, but I will vlog my road trip with Mom. But yeah, podcast went so well. I was gonna do like a full, I wanted to record like a full me talking about the podcast right now and like what it's been and what it's meant. But I am gonna record an episode called We'll Talk Soon, which is how I've ended every podcast from the jump, from the first episode. And I figured that's a great title for the last episode. I've had that in mind for the last probably 4 months. So I'm gonna do that, and then I can talk about the podcast. And plus, I talked about it a little in the car. I did have a huge rookie mistake today with the podcast, of course. In the last one, it couldn't go flawlessly. My phone, I thought I cleared it and had enough space. It didn't. It only recorded 20 minutes of our 2-hour podcast. So not a lot of me in that podcast. The angle looked clean. It looked so good. But it is what it is. We live and we learn, I guess. But either way, the podcast was fantastic. It was a special podcast to me. I think it meant a lot to Hayden as well, so I'm really glad that we got that done, and I'm so excited to release it. It's crazy it's the last one. Like I said, I don't want to get into the podcast and the whole journey thus far. I could talk to you for another hour plus. I have no idea what I'm going to say in that podcast. I haven't done anything to think about. I haven't even thought about it. So it's crazy that it's over. I'm a little sentimental, more sentimental now, I think, knowing that was the last one. I think I've been looking forward to the last one for a while because it's just been a grind in a good way, in a bad way, I guess. So I've been looking forward to this last one, but now that it's done, it's like, oh shit, that's the end of the podcast. It's been 4 years of my life to get to this point, and it's ending now. And it's not ending for a bad reason either, which I think is good. But of course I'm a sentimental person anyways, so it's just wild that it's over. But like I said, couldn't have had a better person to end it with. Very special podcast, and I'm very excited to share it with everybody. I mean, it's already out now by the time you're watching this vlog. But yeah, it's just crazy. The show that has altered the trajectory of my life for sure is over. That's one chapter closed. We're into a new chapter now, an exciting chapter. And who never know, maybe in 6 months I fire the show back up for some reason. You never really do know. I own it, still have full control, so maybe I do that. But I'm looking forward to this break. I'm still going to miss the show. Both of the things can exist at the same time. And I'm just super thankful for what the show's brought me. I love you. Have a good night.